Rightio,
Absolutely.
On Loose Lines is live, and unfortunately Brett Coffey was just giving me a cheeky time, but he is on the show as well. Firstly, Brett, welcome, and I do have all the audio and everything else going tonight, so welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's quite an honour to be on 2 weeks in a row. Unbelievable.
And at the start, not at the end. It's always good.
Exactly.
It's always better for your ego. Everyone knows how this show works. It's just about having a little bit of fun, promoting harness racing in a different light. And Alabar, Brett Coffey, I suppose you guys have got plenty going on at the minute. We've got a few things we're going to cover off on. You wear a few hats, but I suppose we're going to highlight, we'll come back to it, but the Nutrien Race Series this Friday night, just a massive meeting coming up, and it's so super exciting, I suppose, for everyone involved.
Absolutely. It's it's nearly $1 million in prize money going to be distributed on Friday night. Like, that's incredible. And to think, about that number really, and then to think it's at a country track, at Bendigo, it's great. It's exciting that there's so many good horses racing there, and I know the bookings have been, for on course have been great as well. So there's going to be a nice crowd there, and hopefully good weather, and it'll be a beautiful night.
They actually mentioned the other night that it's standing room only. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They've got the 1,200 metre races on tonight as well.
I know.
Alexander Hurley, she's in this race now. She won't be tuning in tonight for a while anyway. She'll probably watch it on replay, but she's out in front with Joshy Duggan on board. So hopefully she gets the chockies anyway. Trying something.
Okay.
The industry's trying something different, and that's what we need to do.
Exactly. It's I've been tuning in, listening to Toc and Darren Carroll on SEN and watching the races. And speaking of Alabar and Nutrien, Ura made his debut and won the first, and he was sold at the inaugural Nutrien sale. So yeah, that was a real nice result for Matty Craven and his clients.
What was he by, Brett?
He's an art major out of Arms of an Angel.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So that was nice.
They're all stepping up at the minute. Those ones, we'll talk about Bay of Biscay as well in a sec, but the Mye McKenzie fella, he was in the other heat at Menangle last week, so they're all there. So, yeah, no, it's good. I don't want a Mozza, and I know this race is already over, so technically I can't because I'm watching it on Trot's Vision, but congratulations, Alexander Hurley. You're going to love the 1,200 metre races. She'll be singing their praises for a long time because this is absolutely romped in, so well done to Alex, and she's a great contributor to my show as well, so I really do appreciate it. I'll get off that now because I'm going to get I'll leave it go for the time being. Who cares?
It's gone great.
It has gone great. So yeah, so there's a one horse that it has shown a bit of form from time to time, but yeah, that was awesome. So hopefully Joshy can continue that. Brett, you wear a few hats, possibly not quite as many as I do, but there's also a very, very important time coming up for the Harness Breeds Victoria next Sunday, in fact, with the Breed to Succeed day at Shepparton.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a great afternoon at Shepparton. Plenty of plenty of really good speakers, and then obviously some excellent door prizes as well.
Yep, there is indeed. So that is on this Sunday. Now it is free entry. It's not this Sunday. It's Sunday week.
No,
it's the 20th.
20. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Yep. So I don't want to get myself into trouble. It is free entry, but bookings are essential for food prizes, plus a limit on sort of seating as well. So I think it's about 100 people, 120 people can get there because there's trade displays as well. So make sure you contact 5852 2845 or admin@nrequine.com, and they'll look after you. You said there before about the prizes, Brett, yourself have come on board, as have Woodlands and Lower Long Farms. I just saw there $21,000 in prizes on the night. There's 3 stallions here, so of course American Ideal's 10 or 11, and then you've got 2 stallions here for 5,000 as well. Just exceptional prizes for people to be there. But to win these, you actually need to be a HBV member as well.
You do, yeah. So you can sign up before, or we'll also be taking membership applications on the nights with no cash, just credit card or bank transfer. But yeah, to sign up, it's $55 a year, and you got a real good chance of winning a service to one of those amazing stallions.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And free entry, as you said. So it's pretty good, and you've got people, some real good experts in different fields to do with breeding and raising of foals and all that sort of stuff. And I believe you're doing an interview with Ken Jackson from Kentuckiana Farms as well to talk about breeding, in the States as well. So that's correct, isn't it, Paul?
I think Kath's doing the interview, but that's fine. I've got to facilitate.
Okay.
But
okay, cool. But it's exciting.
Well, just on that, Kath's actually, like, as well, in the current climate that we're in here with harness racing here in Victoria as well, looking at things differently and getting an understanding of how they stake their races as well is one of the things that she wanted to bring to the table in this whole conversation as well. So it is going to be really exciting. Just a different way of looking at, I suppose, what we do. As we said there before, they've got the 1,200 metre races on tonight, but we just got to keep trying to reinvigorate the sport and change it up. So I think that's going to be awesome. It'll be a pre-recorded interview. We're not going to chance the arm on doing it live just in case. So
no.
Which was a lot of sweat off my brow. Plus, as you said, supporters, there's heaps of them. Harness Racing Victoria, Lower Long Farms, Ranlab, Barristock, Woodlands, Alabar Farms, Highgain, Nutrien Equine, Kentucky Equine Research, Asbar, Harness, Harasta Trotters, APG and Aldebaran Park are all going to be there with trade displays, plus more, I believe. That might be a bit of an older tile, I think, Brett.
Yeah. I think the Harness Racing Club supporting it as well. I'm not sure. Did you mention MiniTube there or not? I can't remember. There's quite a few of them anyway. There's all the details on the hbv.org.au. So there's a multitude of people there who have trade displays, which should be interesting. And obviously with the stud season coming up, there'll be plenty of studs there to have a chat to about what to breed your mare to potentially, and various other equine health displays there as well, which are always good as well.
No, absolutely. And also we want to make sure that people are aware that sign up, become a member, $55. Once you become a member, you will be eligible to win one of the service fees to one of these three stallions in Pastor Stephen standing at Lower Long Farm, American Ideal standing for Woodland Stud, and Vincent for Alabar. And the reason I want to reiterate those, Brett, all of those horses have got live chances in this Friday night's, Pastor Stephen hasn't, but
the other two
definitely do. And Father Patrick's been doing a great job both here and in the US as well. So of course, Father Patrick and Pastor Stevens are full brothers. So I was going to say sisters. Yep. I was going to say sisters. No. Brett. I was going to be all sorts. That is August the 20. Go to admin@nrequine.com.au or 5852-2845 to book. And as I said, bookings are not. It's not a paid thing. It's just so they can get the numbers and for catering and the likes. Plus, it is nearly booking out, so I think you may miss out if you don't do that.
Sign up for sure.
Harness Breeders Victoria are also, this week's got Breeders Week from the 7th to the 11th on SEN Track. How's that all going, Brett?
Seems like it's going good. The feedback's been good. We've had a number of good interviews. Blanche Paul was on yesterday. She was probably the highlight for me anyway amongst all the interviews. I always enjoy listening to Blanche. She's very knowledgeable, does a great job getting mares and foals. So on the breeding front in Victoria, she's one of the leaders for sure. So that was good. And, I haven't caught up with all of them today, but I will on the podcast. But it's been good, and there's still some really good interviews to come.
No, definitely. Blanche generally tunes in. We don't have a lot of viewers on, Brett. I don't know. I'll put your name down to it. We don't have too many viewers, but anyway.
That's why, Paul. You should have put some on better ones.
We'll get it out there. Rain, hail or shine, it doesn't worry us as well. The other one we want to highlight, Brett, before we start getting on to... Actually, we've got two more things, sorry. Hambo Day, December 22. That might be a poor showing on that day.
Humbo Day, Paul.
Humbo Day, sorry, because we can't...
Humbletonian.
we can't have Hambo Day because that was just ran.
No.
On the 22nd of December at Maryborough, all maiden, all Vic bred race day. So that's going to be a huge meeting for both Maryborough Club, Harness Breeders Victoria, but also the participants in the industry as well, because it's a really key meeting and a great opportunity to win some really good stake money.
Yeah, exactly. The whole idea is to get people winning their first win bonus. So that's what we all we'll hope we get a champion, but it doesn't always play out that way. And getting that first win bonus, is a great result for many people that day. So it's always a good day.
No, we've got Brooke Hammond and Dave Lawrence. They're watching. They regulars at Campbell's Comments and the rest. I keep saying Brookie is the number one Uber driver in Tassie, so don't worry about that. If you ever get stuck in Tassie, Brett, give Brookie a ring. She'll look after you.
Okay, all right.
And also the stay-in guide. I'm not going to throw you under the bus on this one, Brett, but it has been printed and should be in the mail. I don't know if people have received it just yet, but it was due to go in the mail roughly around the 1st of August. But the way the Australian Post works, we're not going to we're not going to hold anyone to ransom over that. But it will be on its way very shortly, which will be exciting and a really it's an exciting time for people with their breeding horses.
Absolutely, it's always a good resource for people wanting to choose a stallion. And as you said, it's been printed. It's hopefully reaching people's mailboxes very shortly. It got put online this week on the HBV website. So if you can't wait, then jump on there and have a quick look at that, and then get the physical copy in your mailbox soon.
Throw you under the bus. No, I know it. HBV.org. .au. Sorry,
that's it.
So hbv.org.au for all your harness breeding stuff, and includes you would also get a link there to the Breed to Succeed on the weekend. So
absolutely,
really big, really key. Become a person, become a member, makes the harness breeders a lot stronger as well. So we want more people in it and to have the fun, Brett, and enjoy the ride, I suppose.
That's it, exactly. The more members we have, the more sort of sway I guess we have in our advocacy roles. Please join up and we'll be glad to have you, and hopefully you can win a prize at Breed to Succeed.
Oh, well, that's great to see that. First comment I've got is actually Brookie Hammond and Melissa Main. They're coming across on Sunday, so that is awesome. So they're making the trip from Tasmania. That is terrific. So, they're ripping people. I met them last year. They took me around for the Tassie sales, Brett, and spent the afternoon with them. They showed me the sights, and then threw me out at Devonport and said, "See ya." But no, they were terrific. So it is all good. Of course, I wear a lot of hats. I've got the Barristock hat on, Brett. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but
I'm not watching. But
great supporters of both Alabar and Campbell's Comments. So I must say thank you to them. But I will.
Yep, absolutely.
I will kick it to the curb, mate, because now we're going to talk about this meeting on Friday night, and what a huge meeting it is. Firstly, Brett, it's just not just the stake money, but the quality of horses that have made their way to Bendigo on Friday night. It's just amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it is, and it's, as I said before, you don't often get at a country track. You don't often get in this class of horse, especially juveniles. Like obviously country cups and stuff, you get good free for alls, but to see some of these juveniles here, and some of these will be end of season award winners, for sure, I reckon, and some were last year. So, it's great. And the other thing I love about the meeting is you see in there's quite a few horses come down from New South Wales. We'll see quite a few different drivers, as well, come down from New South Wales. So that always creates interest as well. So it's there's just lots of interesting stories, and be some great stories coming out of this night. There is, and there is actually, there's some really nice horses. I'm actually going to throw you under the bus a little bit, Brett, because there's actually people coming down from Queensland.
Of course.
Shannon Price and Adam Stevenson. I might actually highlight their race first. So I do want to bring your cold into it. But this horse, of course, won at, he's in the red colours there, just about to get to the 4 wide line. But what a story Shannon Price actually is, Brett. Took 2 horses to Menangle. She actually took 3 there for the day, but took 2 horses to Menangle. For these Nutrien Equine Classics, both sponsored by Alabar, and got the chockies with them both. This horse only had 6 starts now, 2 wins. Looks a nice horse. Yeah, absolutely. No, she's they've been just great operators for so many years, both breeding and buying yearlings at the sales, and have terrific results, especially with the juveniles. They're just excellent at that, and they've both got really good. They're both really good horses. Those horses that she's bringing down, and both got real good chances. Sure thing, Captain. He had the he was the number one priced horse for Nutrien for one day. I think he sold for $100,000 on the Friday back then, because that was the inaugural sale, and he was a sale topper on the Friday evening.
Saturday night it was.
Saturday night, sorry, and then he came back again the next day on the Sunday. So, but that was sure thing. Captain's claim to fame. He goes around in the 3-year-old. He was a good win as well, and we will get onto that. But we're going to stay onto the 2-year-olds. The 2-year-old. So this is 8:30. This race is the Alabar Bloodstock Nutrien Equine Classic for the 2-year-old colts and geldings, and we are going to highlight Bay of Biscay right now. The horse in front is no slouch by any stretch. This is the big boss. What a race this was, Brett. We're lucky enough to be there, and I'm going to rub your nose in something in a minute, but this was just brilliant. These two colts, they were just flying up the straight, weren't they? Yeah,
they were for sure. It was a really cool race, and especially when Bay Biscay stuck his head out and won, for me anyway. But like the big boss is a very good horse, and he's obviously proven that. He loves to get out in front and run, and he's not easy to get past. So given the draw on Friday night, it's going to be very interesting.
You and I talk about COVID times, and I was fortunate enough to be there at Bendigo when Ride High went 49. Was it 49? Yes.
Yep, 49 flat. Yep.
On that night, and you always sort of cringe at me because I was actually there. The overnight was a similar night. You actually reminded me that they were very similar times. It was about the same time of year that Ride High ran that, and it just had that similar feel. There was just no breeze around. It was cold, but there was no breeze around, and it was just a perfect night for horses to run. And to see two colts going like that, and as you said rightfully, Bay of Biscay putting his head out for Alabar, was just a great result, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was for sure. It's excellent, and that's a good thing about these sales race series is that you see these horses progress from that sale, and then both of them were actually quite high priced horses, but to see them then do that in a heat, and then the prospect of what they're going to do in the final, against some different horses again as well. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be a cracking race.
$175,000 too. It's remiss of me to say that, and that's what makes these races even so more intriguing. It's an intriguing barrier draw, possibly a little bit more intriguing, I suppose, for you guys, Brett, with Bay of Biscay. I know you don't own him, but you still own him if that makes sense. But just where he has drawn, it just makes it a little bit trickier for that colt.
Yeah, it does for sure, and that's that's what you pay the drivers to do. Herbie will have to figure something out, and Nathan, you think, will just go forward, and who knows what happens underneath him. But over 2150, it's going to be interesting, and it'll be a great race. It'll be a great race.
It was only a 4-horse field the other night of Victorian horses.
Yep.
Red Shores was the other horse, which was. Am I right? It contested here. That's right. It did.
Yes.
I was a bit confused then because I was thinking there's only 3 Victorians in the race, but no, the whole 4 turned up, which is great. And then the rest of the guys from New South Wales have all made the trip. So that's exactly back to what you were saying, and Queensland. I got myself in trouble for it. They've all made the trip up, which is what we want, and going to be really exciting as well. And
it will. And
good to line that form up.
Yeah, exactly. And different form, they went, they obviously, the Victorian heat was a lot slower, but the New South Wales heat went 57-1, I think, from memory over the middle distance, which is, still a really good time for 2-year-olds. So, unfortunately for Shannon Price, Force was drawn the outside of the back, so that's not a great draw either. But then, you've got, a couple of the other ones. Tom Hawkbart, you imagine he'll go forward and try and settle somewhere close to the speed. And, so I'm blanking on who finished second in that New South Wales heat. But, but it's going to be very interesting.
The second horse didn't come down. That's why you don't have to worry.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, there you go.
Quickly running through it, the second horse did not come down, so you're right. For whatever reason, I could I'll help you out, Brett. I'll tell you who that horse was, but it doesn't appear that it's in that field. The beauty of Campbell's comics, and being so well structured and so organised, we can do these sorts of things. No, Snakeskin ran second. Snakeskin is there.
Okay.
So Snakeskin is there.
So,
Greg Sugars takes the reins.
Greg picks up the drive. Who knows what that colt can do? That colt can do as well. So it's going to be a very interesting race.
He's had another start since. That's why I didn't pick Snakeskin. We'll say just a little bit self-indulgent, but Greg Sugars, last night I asked him just to do like a bit of a preview and make sure people are aware that this meeting is on, and huge comprehensive form, if you like. So anyone wanting to know any of Greg's chances, he's got to drive in every race except for the 2-year-old trotting fillies, the second last race. He's driving in every other leg of the Nutrien Classic races, and he goes through every runner and gives great insight, except for one horse. I will say Snakeskin. Snakeskin he doesn't give a lot on because he doesn't know a lot about it. So yeah,
I do remember that now. Yeah, he just got put on. He doesn't know. He hasn't spoken the connections when he did that interview, had he? So
no.
But yeah, like, you know, it's sort of like often in these juvenile races, early, you know, well, not early in the year, but it's sort of, I guess a lot of these horses haven't had too many starts. You generally get they're from the same state, so they might have raced each other a few times or whatever. But this one, there's just a lot of different form lines coming through, so it's going to be very interesting.
Mataranka Park, I watch, and we've got quite a few people now on. Tom Nisbet, Kayleen Tyndale, Samantha Freeman, welcome to you guys and get involved. Jeffrey Dixon, thank you, and good evening to you. And yes, we will need luck tonight. Pang, of course, as EB Mac goes around about 8:30. I won't be on air, Brett, and you won't be with me, but that's okay. So, sorry?
Dennis Howe actually bred one of the horses in that race. He bred Mr.
Brillante, yep. For Ricky,
one of Ricky's.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's one of their graduates. So yeah, he's got a nice draw. So could run a good race.
Better light our distant memory. She's a lovely mare, and Elf Laspina. Of course, they bring down Lux Eterna. We talk about good horses, and that I was actually going to touch on that race just very, very quickly. That is I think that's the Woodlands.
It's a Nutrien
2-year-old fillies, and 7:30, and encourage people. We talk about really, really good horses.
The Sun on the Moon has got the deafness kicked off in third, wanting to lug in a little, and held up on the inside. Internal Blue, 30.1 down the back, and Jack gave the leader Ignite the Fire a bit more leather, and got away from the stablemate Sweet Valeria, battling on the Sun and the Moon, and over on the inside was Internal Blue. They're having a good battle for the minor end, but it's all Ignite the Fire. She's too good. Ignite the Fire first, second. The Sun and the Moon just got its head in front.
Last quarter, but going to have to step it up a little bit with Lux Eterna, a filly I've seen a couple of times. She won the Pink Bonnet. She also won Bathurst. Brilliant filly and a real excitement horse to watch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to be very, very short. There's going to be there'll be a couple of short price favourites on Friday night, and she's going to be definitely one of them. She's been mega impressive. Probably, close to the most impressive 2-year-old, colt or filly in, to this part of the season. And she's, trialled in sub 55 recently as well. So I know she's coming in first up from the break, but she's been trialling really well, and her competitors are going to have their work cut out on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. The second of the Alabar Bloodstock sponsored races are Nutrien Equine Classics. This is $100,000 3-year-old colts and geldings. And the one thing I have noticed, Brett, a few of these horses, before we get onto some of the big guns, but the people that made the trip to Sydney, they're back here as well in Victoria, and it's great to see the likes of Shane Sanderson with both Dangerous and Catalpa Rescue. They made the trip last year. They've come back here as well. I think Our Vinny, a horse that you're associated with, made the trip, and Captain Hammerhead was another horse. These horses have all made the trip back here to contest in the 3-year-old, and that's going to be one of the legacies, I think, of this Nutrien Equine Classic Series, is going to be these horses and seeing the participants keep coming back and growing a brand, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see those horses, as you said, back up from make the 2-year-old final, then back up and make the 3-year-old final again. And this is probably the race of the night, I think. There's just a lot of good horses in this race. Every horse just about has a chance, well, at least running a place anyway.
Yep.
And it's just, a lot of good horses that are going to be contesting, Vic Derbies and Big Breds and Breeders challenges in the coming months out of this race for sure.
Fashion Icon was the other horse for Amanda Turnbull.
They're
terrific purchases of horses through the Nutrien series. I know that as well.
Absolutely.
Oliver Dan, he led, rolled along at some really nice sectionals. Looks like he would benefit from that run as well, Brett. He gets a tricky draw here on Friday night, but 27.2, he looked like he was going half speed, but when you actually look at those times up in the top right-hand corner, it's just ridiculous how this horse covers the ground.
Yeah, for sure. He always had a lot of ability, this horse, and Nathan Purden was here in Victoria and training him last year as a 2-year-old. He had a lot of ability, but just kept breaking. He just had, various, I don't know, maybe just wasn't ready maturity-wise. Obviously, with Nathan going back, he was transferred to Emmos, and he basically had 11 months off. Then made his return last month and made it a winning one, and then backed up in that heat. And as you said, he was very impressive again. So he's a really nice horse.
Yeah, he is. James Herbertson gets a drive on that horse. He's picked up. That's a nice drive to pick up, but that's because
absolutely
with Petrarca, of course, and Mark Pitt and Jeffrey Dixon. I'll get to your comments in a minute, but this horse, he is like the footballer. He is a bit of a beast. This bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, super high speed, and can reel off quarters whenever he needs to. Really, really good horse. But as is the one. Captain Hammerhead was real good last, in that heat as well.
I'll just actually play that video again, and he's just getting to fourth there now. Anyone watching Captain Hammerhead in the black colours for Dominic Hammer and Dave Moran, and he's not driven out hard, is he, Captain Hammerhead? Dave was trying to get there, but he is just running home, and he's another horse, just keeps improving with each run.
Yeah, for sure. And I texted Dom after the race, and Dom's always about looking after his horses and having them peak for later in their life, and this horse is doing just that. I don't know. Yeah, the very ones in, could be good, could be maybe not so good for him.
Woodland Stud takes pride in their.
He is a horse that's really peaking now, so he's going to be a horse to watch in the next few months.
Yeah, absolutely. I had everything set up, Brett, so that I could have these fields come up and we could talk through them and people could see the fields, and they don't want to play the game again with me like they did last night. Very frustrating, but it was all ready to go. So if anyone's wondering what just happened then, it was just me trying to do something a bit smart, and it actually didn't work. Sean McNulty is there. Sean McNulty's got a horse going around in the Harrastra Trotters, 2-year-old classic. Leggy Peggy, but well done to Shawnee the other day getting a double at Yarra Valley. So I like the people putting in, and Sean's always been great for the sport. So that's going to be they're going to be interesting races later on. I don't have a video for those ones, so we don't have to worry about that. But you're right about this field. It is a terrific field, and Toy and the Greg, even with a horse like Mayor of Elwood, who's a lovely horse. And you mentioned the draw, and he's just like, man, it's just one of those draws.
He hit the line real nice in his heat, but he just needed those pegs, and he didn't get it, unfortunately. But he ran a really nice race in the heat. And I know, Paul and Rachel Nixon, who bought him at the Melbourne inaugural sale, and they were wrapped to get through. So it's even though he's going to go around at big odds, it's still a big to have a horse in a race like this.
And just for yourself and the farm, and we mentioned there before about the breed to succeed and getting the opportunity to purchase, win a service fee to Vincent, our Vinny. He's come back terrific, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a really nice horse. He was always a beautiful foal. He was actually a January foal, so he's quite a bit younger than some of these, but he is he's a bit quirky, the horse. Like, he's got high speed, but he sort of just takes a while to kick into gear for some reason. I don't know why. And you sort of saw that last week when Mick Stanley on one of the Soho horses, sorry, I'm forgetting which name, Soho Moonraker.
Yep.
Came and pushed the issue. He just couldn't muster the speed quick enough to hold him out. And you sort of saw it the start before at Melton, where he absolutely, flew home in the straight and only got beaten, I don't know, half a metre or less, neck or something. But it just took a bit to wind up. And then once he gets wound up, he's got real good speed. So, I think he's a place chance on that draw. I don't know whether he could beat some of those other ones, but he's just got a really good, consistent record, and will end up earning a lot of money. I mean, he's already earned about $70,000, and he'll add a lot to that over his career.
No, definitely. Jamie Lee King's watching from Durham Park. Hello to you, Jamie. And Shawnee, I'm trying to give up the dentistry. You're not allowed to turn around and say comments like that on my feed. You've got to take those ones away. But anyway, that's okay. Going forward, the beauty of this night, and I'll keep saying it though, is that it's the opportunity for people in the country to see some high quality horses, and horses that are on a stepping stone towards the end too. We've got derbies and that. These horses, they're not tired. They're not at the end of the road, Brett. They're ready to rumble now and just continue to get bigger and stronger right through the campaign, right through to the end of the season. Yeah,
absolutely. Like a lot of these horses are just, having their sort of first or second or third start of their prep, and they're heading in the right direction, I guess. And there's just going to be a lot of good horses coming out of this series for sure.
Even I said there before about Shane Sanderson, his two horses, Dangerous and Catalpa Rescue, they're just ripping horses. I see here Catalpa Rescue's at $26. It's just like...
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, crazy. That horse always sort of gets overlooked a little bit. Like, I don't know why, because he won that the Caduceus Classic early in the year and he was incredible. Well, he's huge odds that night, but then ever since he's hardly ever starts favourite. I don't know why. Like he won
a heat of the Derby, the New South Wales Derby. Like, I mean, he's a serious. He is a serious horse. So you're spot on. He won
real good.
Yeah, the Caduceus Classic. He's got a great record, and there's a bit of a behind the name too. There's a few of the guys there that unfortunately lost someone just recently. So we talk about Soho. That horse, of course, was bred by Rob Watson, and again, back to the Breed to Succeed. That's the other horse that I was mentioning when we were saying about American Ideal. I mean, you can win a service where you might have a Catalpa Rescue in a couple of years, which is just exactly what we're after. So, and everyone else is
absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely, and he's quite. The other thing from a breeding point of view, Paul, is he's out of a daughter of Aussie Made Lombo, and Soho Moonraker is out of Aussie Made Lombo. So, they're really closely related. Something there for the breeding nuffies. But, I always find that stuff interesting.
I knew you'd come up with something for me. So, okay, so Catalpa Rescue is out of a daughter of I just looked it up.
Aussie Made Lombo.
Aussie Made Lombo. And is that Taylor Made Lombo's family, if you go back?
Yeah, so Aussie Made is the daughter of Taylor Made, who's still she's actually at the farm. She's a nanny for a group of our weanlings, and I don't know how old she is now. She must be... Yeah, I don't know, actually. She's old anyway. I know that maybe she's not 30 yet, but she must be pushing 30. And she still looks really good. She's still doing really well.
That's a video for me. I'm going out and see her because, I mean, we talk about Ladies Red and all the rest, and I think it's very hard to line horses up. But for me, she was still the benchmark because she took on the boys, and they were big boys when she was taking them on too. So, then what she's done in the breeding barn is just outstanding.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And she's still the highest earning mare bred in Australia after all these years. So... very nice horse.
We touched on to the Nutrien for the 2-year-old colts and geldings, and the 3-year-old fillies for Woodlands. 3-year-old fillies has got another really interesting field. The beauty of this field, like you've got a horse like Lochinvar Zena, who was a sale top of that first year, but you got horses like Ludicrous. I think she ran second in the inaugural one. There was another horse, Matriarch, and something about Eiley, who actually won the first one. There's so many good stories about horses coming back. And then there's some horses in really good form, including Sweet Bella.
Yeah. Sweet Bella will be another one that goes around at short odds. She was super impressive on her return. And you mentioned Jamie Lee before. This is obviously owned by Bruce Edward and Vicky. And I know they did a lot of the Jamie and her team did a lot of the pre-work with this filly before she went to Emma and Clayton, so it must have been very satisfying for them to see her make that return on last week.
Yeah, absolutely, and good luck to everyone. Did you breed a horse?
And she was Yeah, well, we had Sweet Bella. We sold Sweet Bella. We actually bought her off Martin and Kay Hartnett in Folder, Sweet Lou, so she was born at the farm and then raised there and then sold. And I remember we got massive money for her. I think we got 90. I think it was 90 grand. I think she made, which was, she was a really, really nice filly, and I was sort of hoping she might make 60, but to get 90 was incredible. But Bruce and the underbidder was actually Shannon Price. So Shannon had a real good crack at her, and so she could have had another one in the final.
I can see before the next year's yearling sales, I better sit down with Shannon and see what she looks at, because she's got an eye. She doesn't. They're not always the dear ones, but she also, when she's determined to get one, she is dead set determined to get one. So Good Time Striker won the third of the 1,200 metre dashes. Just looking at those quarters, they weren't anything special in that race, but I only glanced at that off the side. So but anyway, the 1,200 metre races are going on at Tabcorp Park. Right, Brett. Now, I wasn't sure about the trotters, so I thought, I'll leave Brett out. I can't leave you out of the trotters, because with the Harasta Trotters Nutrien Equine Classic for the 3-year-old trotting colts and geldings, and this is the richest trotting race in Victoria for single sexes, you guys are going to play a big part with Basilica, but you've got to get past this little horse called Prince of Rock. Wasn't he dynamite at Kilmore the other night?
He's a really good horse. But he had Basilica's got good gate speed, and I was speaking to Andy before the race. I said, what are we going to do? He said, we'll try and lead, and then if Prince of Rock pushes the button, we'll let him go. And we didn't have a chance. Prince of Rock just flew out. We cleared everything else pretty easily, but Prince of Rock is just electric out of the gate. And he just kept going, and he is in such good form at the moment, that horse, and it's great to see for Daryl, and then also the breeders, the Pangracios, who bred this colt. But he's fitting and flying.
Yeah, and he draws 7, which would be normally, a lot of people have a bit of angst, but it's the exact same draw he drew at Kilmore. And go back on. I got the replay. I just want to see something, Brett. I'm going to show the replay. Does he put a stumble in just before turning for home? This horse, Prince of Rock, by the looks.
He did something. Yeah.
He actually jumped something.
What happened?
Yeah, he jumped something.
Is that what happened?
Looking at it, yeah. But he's
actually didn't help us.
he's a brutal horse. Like the Locomotive was first up, you guys were second up. This horse is rock hard fit, and he's really ran into some good form. But his racing style, like if you're not 100%, that's the beauty of this Prince of Rock. He's going to bring out those kinks. Like a few people were saying about the Locomotive. I think the Locomotive was okay. It's just the brutal speed that he sets out in front. It just, you don't get a breather.
No, he just runs like 30 quarters basically, and then can sprint home to 28. But like his last 3 starts, I think he's gone, all to roughly around 2 minutes and 5 tenths, and just keeps running. I don't know, we obviously got pretty close to him on in the heat, but he just stuck his neck out and just kept plugging into the line. It's he's an interesting horse, but geez, I don't know a lot about the horse, but his first, he didn't win didn't even place in his first half a dozen starts, and then he's just reeled off wins. So I don't know what's changed, but something, Daryl must have figured something out, and he's just fairly confined.
Could be the weight advantage with Tina Rittis. Don't worry about that. And she knows exactly what she's doing. She's a great person. She's good to interview. Unfortunately, my audio didn't work, but I may drop in on her tomorrow and catch her. It is a good story, that horse. The Pangracios just up the road from Alabar as well. Of course, Louise unfortunately lost her mother earlier this year, and this horse was bred by Louise, her mum, and her dad. And it's good to see this horse really hitting form at the right time for those guys. There's always good stories in harness racing, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely, it is for sure, and they've always bred good horses, and this is just another one, and once again another member of that Mary Miss family as well. Just a remarkable family that keeps producing good horse after good horse.
Yep, and then we talk about the Beaten Brigade though. Your colt's beautifully bred colt. You would have been happy with him though, Brett?
Oh, for sure, yeah, yep. He just, he hangs a little bit at times, and that probably doesn't help him. But no, I was very happy, and he should take benefit from that. And I think he just needs some more experience, more race. He sort of had a very interrupted 2-year-old year, and then also a 3-year-old year. So he just needs some consistent racing. Hopefully, he gets that, and yeah, he's just going really well as well. And he just needs a little bit of luck, and who knows.
He won't hang as bad around Bendigo. Don't ask me why.
Yeah, right.
But for some reason, Kilmore can do that to some horses. Kilmore's a brilliant track; they can win from anywhere. But I think if there's no better track, I think anyway, in Victoria than Bendigo. Maybe Melton, but borderline, I think. And trotters just seem to fly around it. I think it's a great spectacle to see.
He's only had 2 starts at Bendigo for 2 wins, so hopefully he can make it 3 from 3.
Well, don't have to say. I don't have to say too much more. The Locomotive, I think, was good. 5-time Group 1 winner. My personal jet, he contested the heats last year, and Stevie G as well. Very professional little horse. He wasn't an overly dear boy either.
No, he wasn't. And he ran on really nicely in the heat as well. So he made up some ground in that final or down the stretch. So back row draw. He should be able to pick where he wants to go and get into a nice position. So he's a good chance.
Now, Alabar have one more contribution to this meeting, and it is in the last race, the $62,500. It's not the last race, sorry, the second last race, but the Harasta Trotters Nutrien Equine Classic with the first starter, Brett in Ewing, taking on the rest of the boys. I will show
Valentino. Alabar and Marcus peels off the cover. It went a little roughly, so Valentino got away. Alabar and Marcus is in second, getting up along the inside. Valthorn's fighting for that spot, but Valentino's going to lead all the way. Valentino has beaten Valthorns, and third was Alabar.
In good form, and Jess and Greg just looking after him. But it was, with Greg on, you're going to get a good driver, and he's going to take a power beating, I would think. I know it's 2-year-old trotters, but who knows exactly what might happen. And there was, Anton's horse was good as well. But I think with the race experience, it's so important for these young trotters.
The little horse of Alex Ashwood's, when he pulled him out, he just put a couple of funny strides in.
The quickest, Valentino, Alabar and Marcus peels off the cover. It went a little roughly, so Valentino got away. Alabar and Marcus is in second, getting up along the inside. Valthorns fighting for that spot, but Valentino's going to lead all the way. Valentino has beaten Valthorns.
Valthorns got past him quite well. What can we expect with Ewing? Of course, bred by Hayley Lang, but You've jumped with the strength. You've got in bed with Norm Jenkin, and of course Norm knows how to buy a stallion. That's for sure.
Yeah. No. He's Norm's had plenty of winners over the years. So we went in partnership with Norm. He's actually in Basilica as well. So
didn't know that.
Him and Alan have been friends. Yeah, him and Alan have been friends for forever. So I don't really know what to expect from him. Like he's only had the 2 trials. I think his second trial was better than his first, so he is improving, and he thinks he's got some ability there for sure. It's just he just needs some experience. So, but he does trot. Touch wood. Now I've said that, but he does trot nice. So that's always a good start with a 2-year-old trotter. So. Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do, to be honest, but that'll make it all more exciting watching him.
It will indeed. 10:04. There'll be no early duck off for Brett Coffey. That is for sure. But no one should either. I think they're terrific races. Especially we had Sean McNulty on there before. There's also a first starter in that race for Blanche Poole, actually, Muscle Memory. Yeah. I don't know if Blanche is on there or not. We've got a few people on: Craig Judd, Jackie Gibson, Dave Miles. We've got all the big hitters. Michelle Arnott's on there as well. They're all coming out. We'll get something cheeky from some of those guys, but both heats are terrific heats, I think, and there's a little bit of intrigue in them all with the priestess galloping the other day. She's got to do everything right. Sean McNulty, Leggy Peggy's got to stop pulling, and then there's the interestingly bred Third Eye that was a bit of an eye catcher. Got home hard. Might have just got it a bit wrong on the turn at Kilmore, but got home very, very hard up the straight. So a lot of intrigue with these races, Brett, and it's going to be just a super exciting night.
Yeah, well, for sure. The Phillies finals, I know the process is really short, but she obviously made that mistake, which was unfortunate, especially given she's owned by a good blue bagger in David Rees-Jones.
Yes, and they were there enjoying themselves for a lot too. So it was a big night.
Yeah, they were. So that was good to see. There's a night like Mary's Mac was really good. No Telling Heather, I think, was really good as well. I know that's a nice race as well. So as you said, stick around right to the end and see some really good horses.
No Telling Heather was bred by Alabar. I knew there was one more I had to highlight. I was sort of struggling, and I actually did find it as you were saying it. The one thing I said to Louise Pangrazio the other night, Brett, when we were talking about the trotters races and that, the Holloways are not trotting people. The joy on Heather's face the other night, just running second, and she just loved it. Like, it was just, I know they love their horses full stop, but you could just see she just really, really enjoyed it. It's just something special. So it's the joy of our industry, mate. Yeah,
absolutely. It's there's nothing like racing a horse and then seeing them perform well, and the trotters can be very frustrating at times. I've experienced that plenty of times with horses galloping and whatnot. And, so when they put it all together and put in a good performance, it makes it an extra bit special.
Yep, absolutely, and it is fun, and they can come from everywhere. We said there before about David Miles, of course, Aldebaran Eagle, not an overly expensive stallion, out of a pacing bred mare, and won 2 derbies and 2 Oaks so far, so they can come from everywhere. That's the joys of these horses. Brett,
absolutely.
Big night. We want to make sure everyone gets there on Friday night. The first race is at 5:57, and then the Nutrien Classics start after that. I actually can tell you exactly what time those races are, or what time the Nutrien races start. They start from race 2 at 6:31, which is the Harassed Trotters for the 3-year-old trotting fillies, and that's one of the better races. We talk about horses that keep going backwards and forwards, and Bardo will be on in a minute, but Vicky Bloom, Michael Watt, of course, he made the trip down. I think he went to every Nutrien sale. I think it was some stat like that. I'm going to try and get an interview with him before the night. But Vicky Bloom contested the initial Nutrien Equine Classic, and of course back here for the 3-year-olds as well, which is just, again, another good story. There's so many good stories there. It's not funny.
Absolutely, for sure. And that's I thought Greg was probably a little undersold his horse in your interview with him. I thought she was really good, and I know she's out of the draw now, but so is Tradie Lady as well. So I don't know. That's going to be a wide open race, that one.
No, absolutely, a lot going on. Before I let you go, there were some huge races over in America last weekend.
I thought we were going to talk Carlton. We got me on for.
But we could do that, or just talk Collingwood. It'd be even worse. But no, the baggers are up and about there. Everyone's coming from everywhere. So there's a bit going on. I've got to be careful. I've only got 2 pairs of socks, and I've just got to make sure I can get them washed and dried, so I can have them on every day. So,
that's it.
But no, Carlton are up
Melbourne this week.
Yeah, well, Jeffrey Dixon, he's already piped on there about Petrarca, and then Melbourne will come out and beat us. So he's on Petrarca, so he'll be there. So be careful what you say now. He might get to you when you get to the Bendigo on Friday night. So, but we are going good. D Miles will be saying it won't be much because of course Hawthorn came out and beat Collingwood as well. So. Yeah, but
we broke them the week before, so that's why Hawthorn were able to beat them.
Absolutely, and it's one of the joys, I think, being a Carlton supporter. You just have to put a fishing line out every now and then just to do a little bit of fishing, don't you, Brett? And they'll just come in. You and I will get some comments off these comments. There'll be people lined up.
There hasn't been many joys about being a Carlton supporter in the last 15 years, Paul.
No, definitely not. But it was a very good night. I think I had a second and a third driving home from Melton, but I had my best win on the way home with the boys who own Belittled and EB Mac with us. They are bad one-eyed Collingwood guys, and it was just a lovely trip home. It really was. So,
beautiful.
North America
races in the US.
Yes,
you're going to talk about.
Sorry. You're fine. Hambletonian night day, and just a huge card of racing. I think it was 16 races for the whole day. We'll talk to you about tactical approach in a sec. I want to highlight though this mare who's by Always Be Mickey, and that's one of the reasons. Sylvia Hanover. She's coming out of 4 for everyone watching. No, she doesn't. She comes out of 2, with Bobby McClure on. Unusual horse, unusual racing style, if you like, for the way the Americans go. But, gee, she's an exceptional filly, Brett.
Yeah, she's really, really good. And some people are talking about her and, with the best fillies that have sort of raced, especially in recent times. But she's just very, very peculiar in her racing pattern. Just she never wins by a huge amount, and she always gives the opposition a chance to win. But she just keeps finding a way, and she's only ever lost one race, and then danced every dance since, and just keeps winning.
Is she? What is she? 16 in wins? 16 from 7?
Or
is it not that many?
I don't know. I don't know if it was quite that many, but I thought it might have been 13 from 14 or something like that. But
No. I brushed over it and I couldn't find it then to see it. She's actually just got to third, and
sorry, it's 14 from 15. So
14 from 15. Yep. And but Toddy McCarthy is in front. I'm technically not allowed to show the whole race, but anyway, that'll be fine. If Meadowlands want to come down on me, they can. But Bellissima Hanover, Toddy's still just sitting here smoking the cherry, and Bobby's up. Like he's asking her to get going. But just watch this next 200 metres. She's just brilliant, isn't she?
Yeah, and she just knows where the line is and just takes that aim and just gets past everything all the time. And like the start before, she ran 2:26 quarters to close. She doesn't necessarily have like high point to point speed, but once she gets going, she just goes. And she doesn't like to take the front for some reason. In some of her races, she refuses to go to the front, which is odd. And I think it was the start before. She just puts the brakes on, doesn't go to the front, and then horses come around her, and then she just takes off again. And I don't know, she's got some odd characteristics, but she's she just wins. She's just a winner.
Bob McClure just even driving it to the line then, like he's just got the whip in the air. He does touch her. It's not like he can't hit her, but it's more like I think he just knows, well, you're just going to keep trying, and he just has confidence in the horse the way he drives it. So I actually missed one of the comments. Jamie Lee King was saying Sweet Bella was one of Bruce's unsupervised purchases, and he keeps reminding us of it.
I still remember watching Bruce bid on it, and Bruce it doesn't show a lot of emotion at the best of times, but it's just real stoic and just putting his finger up, and then Shannon was it was quite good to watch. Well, very good to watch, really.
I do enjoy that. We'll talk about that at the sales. It's one of the great things about being at the sales and watching people's characteristics, and also just watching the body language. As you can see, certain people want a certain horse. It's it's cool to watch. Some people hide behind pillars. Some people just stand in the one spot. There's all different idiosyncrasies, that's for sure. Going forward, the Hembo Oaks not very often feature races at North America. The horses win from 10, but the Hambletonian and in the Hambletonian Oaks, Timmy Tetrick's just dragging back to last here with Heaven Hanover. Doesn't happen very often, does it, in North America?
No, and especially coming from that far back, like, that was, they obviously ran real quick first half in 53.2 or 53.4, which is just crazy time really for 3-year-old trotting fillies. Which then allowed Tim to come wide, and he just flew home, and the filly got up, just over Bond.
Anyone watching this, he's about to become the widest horse. That's him in the yellow. He's still third last with about 100 to go. The race caller could see it coming, but then he sort of stopped again. He called her once, and then he's like, "Nah, she's not going to get there." And then, right on the line, just brilliant. She's a daughter of Father Patrick as well, so she's doing a great job for connections over there, that's for sure. And they're going to have a lot more fun with that filly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's a really nice horse, and obviously there was a couple in there that are also really good, including Bond, who ran second, but. It's you put Tim Tetrick on, you're going to get a good result most of the time.
Yeah, it's interesting the way the drivers go, Brett. I could talk to you all day, and we haven't, as you said, haven't really touched on Carlton too much. It's amazing. Like last year, the Australian and Kiwis were sort of winning everything. This year, it's gone back to the Yannick Gingras, Bobby McClure, Timmy Tetrick, they're the guys coming back to the fore, if you like, and even the Hambletonian winner. He come back, so they've made a resurgence to the American drivers, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure, and it just changes every year up there, depending on who's got the good horses. While they're all catch drivers, they do also align with certain stables, a fair bit. Yep. And then I guess I don't actually know. I'd have to look it up, but some of those the European trainers like the Marcus Melander and Aki Swanstead, they probably don't use the down under drivers as much as they use the Aki drives. Yeah, Aki drives himself a bit, but then Marcus maybe uses some of the American drivers a little bit more. But it swings and roundabouts, and Toddy and Dex and Andy will pick up good drives coming forward and moving forward, and you just got to pick the right horse at the right time.
You're going to go a long way to see a better drive. I've had the Hambletonian playing as you've been talking there, but it doesn't matter. Tactical approach. I want people to go download it and go back and watch it 2 and 3 times. One, Patience. Nancy Tactor's horse. It was a chance, but the draw, they sort of were, everything's going to have to go his way. Well, just a brilliant drive, wasn't it? Just so patient, and a really good horse, because they don't do this in North America. They don't come from last, no matter what sort of run they get, and be able to get over the top of the entire field.
No, exactly. It was Scotty Zeron's just a really, he's probably a touch underrated. He's won he's probably won every big race up there now. He's not that old, but he's very, very kind on the horses. I think anyway, watching him from afar, he just always looks after the horses, and that was a perfect case. You wouldn't have at the quarter pole. You probably wouldn't have wanted to bet on that horse, but
no.
But he took every. Took every advantage and got home and got up, by a length on the line. He was sort of, won relatively easily.
In 150 and 3 too, and a good time. It's another one when you do watch it. That video goes for a little bit longer, and they put the lowdown shot, and Timmy T's looking over his shoulder, and he just keeps looking over his shoulder. He's thinking, I've got this, and then for some reason he thinks, oh shit, I better have a look to the inside, and you could just see he's like, I haven't got it. It was just very, very, very deflating, the look on his face, unfortunately. So there was
at the end of those, the end of those miles, those horses are flat out, and they know, those drivers know that, and that's why, Timmy knew his horse didn't have any more to go, and any more left in the tank, I should say, and Scott just flew home, and a sub 27 last quarter, hard to hold out when the trotter's running that quick.
I love the American racing. It's probably something when I didn't understand it enough, and I know you do as well. It is so tactical, the way they do things, and positioning, and when horses come out and when horses do retakes and things like that. It's an enjoyable sport to actually watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And, I know some people don't, it's not for everyone, but it's the same as racing down here. You need things to set up and the right way, and but when they do, it's I find it really exciting racing, and just the speed and the way the drivers drive, and then you get to follow good horses, follow good trainers. It's a similar, it's similar and different in so many ways, I guess, to our sport, but it's still horse racing, and it's still exciting when there's good horses going around in good races.
Absolutely. There's 2 other races I was going to preview, but they're both for the Woodlands guys. So I'll show. Are you happy to talk about them? It doesn't worry me either way.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I guess you're going to talk about Confederate in the Cane Pace. Wasn't
it a great race? This race, and
absolutely.
Christchurch. So the one thing I like about here is they're in the Diamond Creek's colours, which is awesome. He has actually got to 5th at the 6th, back on the fence with the yellow hat. The other horse that's about to take off is a horse called Christchurch, and he will go to the front. He's a lovely horse, but this horse, he just keeps getting better and better, and I think they said monster. And when you watch the last 100 metres of this race, monster's just a great word for it, isn't it? The way that he gets to the line, Brett, he just monsters this quality field, but just goes straight past them.
Yeah, exactly. And then you said Christchurch is a really nice horse, and he just goes fast. He's just in the zone right now, and that's it doesn't always. Their season's very long in North America. It doesn't always last. And I'm not saying this guy, because this guy appears to be head and shoulders above the 3-odd crop at this point in time, but there's plenty of racing to come, but he's just in the zone right now, and trained by Brett Coffey, who, an
Aussie,
has had exactly. And I was lucky enough to meet Brett a number of times, because he's actually lived in Perth for a fair while in his hiatus. But he's just just an incredible mind. Those trainers that you meet that just think differently to every other trainer.
Yep.
You meet a few of them. I'm not going to name names because I'll probably miss some people, but Justin Warwick was one, because he's not training anymore. I can mention him, but he was similar. Just incredible people to speak to, and Brett Pelling. This horse used to be with another trainer. Diamond Creek shifted into Brett Pelling for his 3-year-old year, because Brett's had so many good 3-year-old pacing colts over his years, and this guy's definitely another one.
Yep. How long is the Meadowlands track? It's a mile, Michelle, aren't it? It's one lap, so they just do the one lap of that. The part there, if you can get the chance, go to the Meadowlands. I think it's just Meadowlands race track. Brett, you can help me. You can see the videos. You go to replays. It's a little bit tricky to find, but you can go through there and find them. Unfortunately, they don't have them next to the races. You've got to know what race they are actually in, but you're able to watch it. But he just monsters that field. That last 100 metres, he quickens. Like you said, Brett, they're always going the fastest on the line. That horse just found a gear with 100 to go. It was just ridiculous against a quality field of horses. It was just brilliant. Yeah, no,
he's certainly a really nice horse, and I think him and Sylvia are 1-2 in their poll they have every week. So it's pretty exciting to have 3-year-olds doing those sort of things.
Yep, absolutely.
And completely different, in the way they go about it.
Yep, it is. He just looks a professional horse, and hopefully he continues to get better and better, and a great horse for people to watch, and a good name, I reckon, Confederate. But I actually like them both. I think Christchurch. And you get that, I suppose, a little bit of attachment to it. I don't think Bendigo would have the same ring to it, but
it would if it kept winning.
Well, we would. And I was just thinking, Brett, we've got a couple of people in there. We could get them. We might be able to get the Yanks to call one Carlton for us and see how that goes. Anyway, so
there's a non-stop winner. That's what it would be.
We got a couple. I'll get to their comments in a minute, but we'll leave those alone. This other horse, By the Missile, Down by the Seaside, and of course you've got a son of Down by the Seaside coming to stand this year. Gets out on August 16, which is not far away. But
no, next week. Week today.
This by the Missile for Yannick Ringas. We say that this is a Sam McKee, a time-honoured race. Tattoo artist in front. He's no slouch. He's a fair dinkum good horse. And By the Missile drew barrier 10. This was the third of the big race wins coming from the extreme outside gate that they've got there in at the Meadowlands, and just another real quality horse. He was a good 3-year-old. This horse was he 3-year-old of the year? Pebble Beach.
No, Pebble Beach was,
yeah. This horse was highly rated. Well, that's because Pebble Beach is going to be standing at Alabar. Don't worry about that. But he does seem to have come back better, I think, as a 4-year-old, this horse.
Yeah, he hasn't had that many starts. I don't know if he's had a few issues or what, but he did get scratched at one point, so maybe he's got, just had some little niggles or whatever, but he's, I think that's 4 wins from 5 starts now, so look for him to have a big back half of the season when they shift down to the Red Mile soon, and then then on to the Breeders' Crown and those sort of races. He'll play a big part.
I love the bit back there. It was a split screen, but they just were honed in on Yannick and Dexter, and you could just see the horses out the back just drop off when By the Missile and Tattoo Artist just put the foot down, and all of a sudden there's no one else in the picture. It's just it's a really cool thing, and it just shows the acceleration that these horses have. And as I said, Tattoo Artist was no slouch. They only went a 147.1. It wasn't like there was any loafing. So, but he does seem like he's come back a lot better. I actually was pretty chuffed the other day, Brett, that I'm going to hopefully be able to get a couple of interviews with the team from Diamond Creek. They reached out to me the other day, so which will be pretty exciting to talk about what is going on down there. So
they're real good people. We obviously deal a lot with them, with Adam and Bowden and Carolyn in the office. So they're just really nice people. Love the animals, love the horses. Love the business, really down to earth. Just great people. So, that'll be good. Looking forward to that.
I am too. And that all come about because of the Vincent Delaney Memorial Day that is on the August the 12th and 13th. Have you been to this day, Brett?
I've been once, I've only been once. Basically flew up there for the weekend and went to it, and it was, a heap of fun.
Yeah.
Like it's, I went when they were at the other track, and it was just a little 800-metre track, but they know how to celebrate, the Irish. It's incredible. So, a lot of fun.
They're inviting me to go there and go across. I hope they realise I don't drink, but anyway, that'll be okay. But it must be a good day because the amount of feedback that I've had from people. Anthony Butt, he never puts a comment on anything, and he actually wrote a comment on the interview I did with Derek. So I think when that happens, that's really showcases what sort of a day that actually is.
Yeah, and once again, like, Derek's a great guy, like just a real down to earth guy, and just loves horses, and as do his whole family. It's just really enjoyable time.
I know they sand Foreclosure. They actually own Foreclosure, but they sand him and they sand Sweet Lou, Always Be Mickey, and there's one other stand I can't think who they sand. They've got a nice book of horses on their draft, that's for sure.
They've got all those. It might be. I think it's Captain Crunch, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yep. So they got that relationship with Diamond Creek with the Frozen, and then obviously has Foreclosure there, who's actually a New Zealand bred horse that raced in the States, and and they've got some really nice mares that they imported from America as well. So.
They actually bred, anyone who hasn't watched the interview, they actually bred the first, and he thinks maybe only, non-American bred horse to contest the jug, which was actually the Jugette. So it's a pretty cool little stat, and they actually have purchased her back since. So she's
Oakwood Annabella, isn't it?
Something like that. So he has a bit of an accent. It was a bit hard for me to understand some of the words that were coming out, but
she was really good. And then obviously, I'm pretty sure they got a Mickey filly maybe out of her, and she might be back in Folder Crunch. And I think they're going to take it back to Ireland. Is that correct?
No, she's back. She is in Ireland. Yep.
Oh, she's back already.
They have got her.
Yep.
And I think one of her progeny is racing this weekend. Could be wrong. No, I am wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm pretty sure she's only got a foal or maybe a yearling. Yep. I think it's only a foal, but
it'll go through next year's yearling sales. So
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so nice. Random things I see. Duncan McPherson's on. We've had them all tonight, Brett. None of them are commenting. Wow. None of them are commenting. I tell you what, we've got the Carlton people though. David Shaw, he's a New South Welshman through and through. How can you carry on about a game that gives a team 1 point for missing a goal? So we will just leave that one alone. Jeffrey Dixon's come out on the long run. The Blues are having their purple race now. The big boys will push them aside. Sorry, Paul. Another year, no joy.
Please.
What he's going.
Please.
Shorty McNulty, going to stop watching soon, Paulie, all this Carlton talk. Fair dinkum. Gone.
What in 15 years without talking about him, Paul.
Yeah, and then he's turned around and he's gone. What a great name for a horse, better than Cripps. Well, it probably would be. It'd probably be a little bit of fun actually. So.
Jeez, I hope we don't fall in a hole like last year now after we talked him up.
No,
last year was one of the most painful things of all time. Those last 2 games.
Shawnee's thinking about turning off. You and I can both say we did turn off, just walked away. It was just no good at all. So, yeah.
No.
Brett, thank you. Going to be a huge night of racing Friday night. Look forward to catching up with you, mate. Thanks for joining me on the show. I'm going to get Bardo on in a second. If he's watching, he might have gone to sleep by now. But, really do appreciate it. The support from Nutrien. I'm not on there. I get sponsored by them, but I know anytime I need anything, I can ring you and you give me the answers or come on for an interview. So I really do appreciate it, mate. And good luck. Congratulations with your support. 2 major races sponsored this weekend as well. So thanks for joining me, mate, and giving everyone a bit of a preview.
No worries at all, Paul. Thank you very much for everything.
Hang on, Craig Judd, and I'm pretty sure Craigie's a Carlton man. How could we possibly stop listening while Mr. Harness Racing B. Coff is on? I think he's just been a bit cheeky. So, but anyway,
he must want something. He must want something.
He's a Carlton man too, though, isn't he? I'm pretty sure.
No, he's a Hawthorn man.
Oh, is he? Oh,
I'm pretty sure he's a Hawthorn man. So he had a win win on the weekend.
Yeah, they've won enough. We don't want to talk to them for too long, so that's okay. So yeah, he just timed in Hawks, mate. So sorry about that.
Yeah,
Jody.
Exactly. He's had a bloody good run. So
wonder if we're going to see him on Friday night. Hopefully we do. We'll have a bit of fun.
I'm not sure whether he's coming down or not.
I was going to say it might be too cold, but he is. It's probably warmer
than colder place than Bendigo.
Well, it's probably still snowing there, so we won't worry.
Absolutely, it'll be snowing there for another month. I don't know how he lives there. Oh God!
Hey, mate,
having said that,
there's some chance there might have been something happened during the week too. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not, so I best behave myself and not. But
I did hear that as well.
Yeah, well, we won't probably officially put it out just in case we're not allowed to. But yeah, we'll leave that one alone. Let people think about it. We'll see if Juddy's brave enough to type it in. So anyway, we can go from there. Brett, thank you very much, mate. Look forward to seeing you on Friday night. As I said, I'm going to get Bardo on the phone just to go over a few little things as well. Brad Steele's on as well. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Look forward to catching you Friday night.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Thank you very much to Brett Coffey. I will just stop that audio, and I really appreciate it. Hopefully people did enjoy that. I want to promote these days, these meetings, the contribution that so many people are putting into this big day, and it's going to be a lot of fun going forward, that's for sure. I will get Bardo on the line because I've got through most of the stuff that I need, and I'll just see if he answers straight away. You there, Bardo?
Yeah, I am.
Sometimes I'll call you in 5, and I wasn't sure, mate. We got everyone on watching. We've got everyone. Craig Judd is on there. Brad Steele, plenty of people. Duncan McPherson, Jackie was on. Darren Clayton from Queensland, he is on. They're all on watching. So we've just got to make sure we do everything right. Don't have audio issues and things along those lines. But I don't know how much of that you were able to watch or that, but. What's his name? Brett was just awesome. But the support from Alabar over the whole race series has been terrific, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Been fantastic. We're, I guess you look at where we started from, and there was a handful of people came with us right at the start, and the Alabar team. And Brett personally has been someone I've asked for plenty of advice, and he's always very happy to give it. So we wouldn't be where we are without our sales, without the support of all of those founding vendors, and particularly the Alabar team.
It's getting very, very close. Anyone wondering, there won't be any more Carlton talk because Bardo doesn't understand AFL either. He's up with you, David Shaw. I'm getting text messages. So I still don't know whether, Juddy, that means I'm allowed to say it or not. So I don't know. Juddy's sending me some text messages, but I'm not going to get myself into trouble, that's for sure. So
mate, all I know, I did speak to Craig Judd, and he was very happy to talk about Hawthorn, I think, on the weekend.
Yep. We might just leave it. We might just... No, he's just said yes. So Craig Judd is actually getting married. So officially what happened was, I actually could show that, but Beck put a post up that said he said yes. So Beck got down on the knee. Juddy tried to claim the old knees mightn't have done the job by the sounds, Bardo.
No, good luck to him. I think... He's obviously he was playing hard to get, so she's had to put the acid on him. But no, it's a good outcome for both, mate. So we should both very, very well.
Batting above his average, that's for sure, C. Judd. So he'll be fine. Big night, mate. Friday night. You must be wrapped that it's nearly here. I suppose nervous, anticipated, but you must be excited about the meeting coming up at Bendigo.
Oh, definitely, mate. Look, the first thing I'd say, just the club, the enthusiasm of a country race club, I think, has been one of the really the highlights. Like last week when we were there with Heat, and I know they've sold all their tables. Like the place is fully booked. We've got that function area. I've had a number of people have rung me even today, just saying, like, how good is this to have, all but $1 million worth of racing, all in regional Victoria. So I think that's great for us, and it's what we stand for as a brand too. And not just, it's not just surprise money. Brett, Brett's terrific with his time, and so Alabar, so Woodlands, everyone that get behind this, not scared to promote horses that potentially they haven't bred or not, by their stallions, but the depth
of horses racing at this meeting, like there is some horses that are going to be on everyone's tongues, for another 12 months, without a doubt. It's just a brilliant meeting. Like the stake money, richest individual 3-year-old trotters by sex, so you can get individual sex for the season. The prize money, that's for a rash of trotters. It's just brilliant. The Alabar races at $175,000 for the 3-year-old colts and geldings, and then also for the 3-year-old fillies as well. So it's just enormous prize money that is on offer. But the depth of horses, and then also the amount of people that have travelled, it's so exciting for harness racing.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I had a horse chiropractor actually doing some work on mine, and happens to be the same chiro that Ben Setri uses, and Benny dropped in at Wagga to start late this morning on his way down there, and there's a number of trucks and horse floats that have gone. A lot of them gone today. So it's an effort for them to get down there. Obviously, there's good prize money up, but the support for the race series is fantastic, and I think it's probably the one that really grabbed me was just the depth in say those 3-year-old trotting colts. Like, it mightn't be a big field, but it's a quality field, quality race.
It is, and back to what Brett and I were talking there about it, like a horse for $20,000. There's Basilica, they paid $160,000. There's some beautifully bred horses in that, but even a horse like Stevie G, he wasn't an overly expensive horse. I think Used to Me stands for $1,500. That's the beauty of it, and there's so many live chances in it, and what is going to be a very, very competitive race, and you need to be there early to make sure you're there in time to watch that race, because I think it's race 2. No, it's race 3 on the card, so it's a second of your heat races.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's look, the field's right through are great. I thought interesting. Like we're talking about Luxa Turner here over these last couple of days, and just interesting the 3-year-old filly races, mate. The Benny Setri's actually got a half out of the arch nemesis as well. So our redemption, number 6 in that 3-year-old filly pacing race, is actually another one out of that family. And what's also exciting for me, we've got the full brother is going to be going through the sale in Sydney next year. So there's two out of that mare family are both in the final, and one's a very short favourite. So it's just great to see that next generation, or that next one of that family starting to poke through too.
Yep. We say there before about the New South Wales guys. Brad Steele's come on there. When we get better together, the game gets bigger, and it's a pretty true statement to be said there. And because the Queenslanders coming down with Shannon Price bringing 2 horses, she's actually bringing 3 for the race night, but she's got 2 in the Nutrien Classics. It's just enormous. But they're not 2 just making up the numbers. I mean, Forceful, we've got Craig Judd on. Of course, they bred this Sweet Lou out of Emerging Force. And then, as I said to Brett, their Sure Thing Captain, that at one stage was a sale topper through the series. It's just they're bringing high quality horses down, and it's just going to be such an exciting race night.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I know we talked earlier. We did some radio with Anton Galeno there earlier this morning, and of the 3-year-old trotters, for example, just getting back to you mentioned Benstead, and you look at all of these great breeding farms. 12 of the 20 finalists were bred by Yabby Dan in the trotters, and then you look there the other day. I know Brett was over the moon. The first 3 were all Alabar bred horses, and then I know there was a Quinella for Benstead, and you look at interesting that the filly that Luxa Turner beat in the Gold Crown, in the Bathurst Gold Crown, that filly's also went on and won a group race, won the APG, but then it's also, we've got the 3/4 to that one in the sale as well. So there's some really good stories, and for me, I guess, looking at next season, these great mare families are actually producing, and we're going to see more of them on offer next year.
Yeah, it is, and that's going to be in April. But this is cool. These horses. The one thing I like about it is what I said to Brett. These horses are all on the up. This isn't their grand final. A lot of these horses are going to continue racing right through the season, so they're fresh. There's no established form line. This is the start of it. This is where it all begins for the rest of the season, Bardo. Like Nutrien are making waves, and this is probably one place that people aren't thinking about it is the build up to the rest of the season begins now with this big race meeting here in Victoria.
Oh, look, I think the ones that are always nice, you look at, say, Lachlan Varzina was our top still filly in our very first sale. Now, she's now 4 on the trot. So she comes back. She's a treacherous. So you're looking at the horse that someone put that money into. Like, they made the investment. They're actually getting a horse, Kevin Gordon's got a horse that's worthy of being up there amongst the favourites. You look at Luxa Turner was actually the voted best presented filly on the grounds at Sydney last year, and there you see a filly that I think she's 4 from 4. So it's great to see people that are backing their idea with what horse to buy, and these great horses they're continuing on. They're doing their job.
And Bay of Biscay, a horse, talking with Alabar just there before, and how exciting it was to watch that horse in person the other day. But I mean, you and I saw Brett. They were confident that the colt would make nice money. They were, hopeful. They were very confident they'd put a horse that would not only suit someone to buy at the sales, if you like, which is ultimately what the end game is, but also go on to be a nice horse, and a horse with I can say it now, untapped ability. We don't know how good he's going to be, where he's going to finish up, but to see that excitement 12 months ago or 2 years ago, I suppose it was now, wasn't it? To see that excitement and that build up, and then to see it starting to come to fruition now, it's just I think that's the great joy of this journey.
No, absolutely, and I guess the it's not just the sire. It's like I say, if you just see some of the consistency in some of these families, these mare families, and how hard it is to get them. I think if you see, I said this to someone the other day too. When you see horses that are genetically talented, like they've got the pedigree, but to get to the right stables where they're given the chance to be the best they can be, and I think that's the other thing. Which you talk to a lot of these guys, you said it's not their grand final in some cases, a lot of money, but there's a lot of these guys saying, look, no, we're going to nurse them along. They're taking them easy. It's like the 2-year-old trotters that went round there at Kilmore last week. A lot of those, like they're only just off their training wheels, and they are taking them. They're being looked at as a prospect 4 and 5 years down the track, not just this year. But it's exciting to chase this sort of money.
The quickest, Valtino, Aldebaran Marcus peels off the cover. It went a little roughly, so Valtino got away. Aldebaran Marcus is in second, getting up along the inside. Valthoran's fighting for that spot, but Valtino's going to lead all the way. Valtino has beaten Valthorans, and third was Aldebaran.
But he's another horse. He was by Love You, but Blake Fitzpatrick makes a trip down from New South Wales. Well, I don't know if they are, but of course the horses with Greg Sugars. So these sort of horses are the horses that are the ones that we want to, I suppose, promote and get the message out there for. Bardo might have gone.
No, back again now, mate. Sorry, I just popped off for a second, yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah, look, and I think, again, there you've got trainers, but you've also got, like you say, the drivers. We watched Greg put, got 2 wins there the other night at Kilmore with the trotters, and I think, like I say, you're seeing these young horses. I guess they're only drawing it from being in the camp draft world. What babies need, they do need help. You've got to find timing's everything, and I know, for us, we look at it. Where I find this exciting is we don't start our young horses until the autumn of their fourth, when they're 4.5 effectively, before we actually put them into competition. So these horses getting up and going at 2, that's not something I'm probably as used to, but as a small owner now, I also like the fact that you want to try and get a return on your investment. And for anyone that's out there listening that hasn't bought a horse yet, I can't tell you how much fun it is to actually have one go to the track, regardless of where they finish. It's a bit of fun. So that's probably what we've got to get that message out there. Partial ownership's not hard. These are all things that I've done in the last couple of years, but it's exciting to get involved in one, and it's also a bit of fun when you've got a few mates, and it doesn't cost a lot. A mate that was in one of the ones we had, he couldn't believe, coming from Gallopers, that that once you get a pace or a trotter fit, they go around week after week, don't they? Yep,
absolutely. Alan McDonough's on from Emma Stewart's, and I was talking to Al the other day. Anyone wondering, Bardo's little filly Fireproof is going around in the Nutrien Equine Classic for the 2-year-old fillies, $175,000 race. I actually got the paces mixed up before. The 3-year-olds are for 100, the 2-year-olds for 175,000, but just amazing money on offer. As I said, on top of it's a reverse for the trotters, is it not? But 125,000 for the 3-year-olds, and 62,500 for the 2-year-old trotters. So
2-year-old trotters, yeah. So the money's there for the 2-year-old pacer, but we've actually, obviously on advice, we put the money at the 3-year-old trotters. But yeah, look, to have one make the final, that's actually, that is a bit of fun, mate. I can tell you, she's not going down there with any high expectations. But again, she's young. She's only had 3 starts. She's had a win, but we'll go down there and it's like I say, you never know what could happen. She's drawn 4. She's I think on her inside is Lux to Turner, so hopefully she can get in the slipstream of her for a little while, perhaps.
No, informed stable too, going well. But I won't hold you much longer, mate. I had you on the trotting show the other night as well. Entries are still open for the 2024 sales season. They close at the end of this month. If anyone has any issues, to get in touch with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on that, mate. Look, the question's been, asked how we're looking, and look, our numbers are. We're really, really pleased with the way the numbers look. We're also really excited about partnering with HRV for that weekend with a sale in Melbourne, and and our second or our third race series will be on that same weekend. So on the 13th of April. So you're going to see. I think we said that the other day. Like, it's $2.2 million worth of Nutrien race money goes up, this financial year. So, this in August on this Friday, and then again in April. So it's over $2 million these young horses, 2 and 3-year-olds, will race for. And we're probably looking at this stage, I'd say, somewhere between 150 and 180 Melbourne, 140, 150 I'd expect to get in Sydney, and probably 70 to 80 horses in Brisbane at this stage. So they're quality catalogue. And last year, we did have a big number of horses to try and get through. I think that's the numbers that meet the expectations of the market. I think that it'll be a great year. Looking forward to it. Whilst it's been a little bit tougher economically, I think there's opportunity there, particularly the fillies. I reckon there's some great fillies that you can buy for value, and they chase the same sort of money.
It's something you do with your performance horses. They look at it differently with the fillies, and I think your mentality is starting to rub off on a few people. But then you listen to Brett Coffey and Jamie Lee King was on before, like Bruce. He's got enough horses, but he still bought Sweet Bella at the sales because he probably liked her, wanted to buy one. Apparently, it was an observed purchase. I don't know exactly. I can't remember her exact terminology, but I believe Bruce might have just slipped away and just bought that horse himself. But I mean,
unsupervised. I think you might have said unsupervised.
That's Jamie put the word in there. So so I think those things are really, really they're important to get that messaging out there that the fillies have such a residual value. One, they race for equal stake money through the Nutrien race series. Doesn't matter if they're trotters or pacers. The prize money is the same. There's a few more mares races starting to come onto the scene, but then you get to potentially breed them and then send them back through the Nutrien Equine sales. And if you don't want to race them, you get to be able to watch them. And you heard from Brett Coffey firsthand there before, the horses that they've had some input with, they just people just enjoy it. And I think that's a great part about the game, and probably part of it we don't sell enough when you purchase these fillies.
Look, and I guess everyone each to their own, but look, I know with my camp draft hat on, I get on well with my mares. I do. I love working with mares. I just find, for me, my mares give me everything they got. I sometimes wonder, a gelding, sometimes he reminds you that you took him out of him, so he tries to square you up every now and then. But I do love working with my mares, and they, and then the thing is, if something does run amiss, you've always got the ability to still, breed from them. But we've got 2 mares. We've got a little baby that's in a second prep at the moment, and I get a buzz out of seeing him go through the process of being a competition horse and then going through the next phase as being a brood mare. So I think that's part of the enjoyment I get out of horses.
No, absolutely. Susan Hunter is watching. Hello to you, Susan. But thank you. nutrienequine.com.au for all the information there. Bardo's phone number is on there. Gemma Smallman's phone number is on there. They will be at Bendigo Friday night, where it will be warmer than what it was at Kilmore last week. But Dennis Howard's on, of course. Don't know if Dennis is making the trip down, but he's got a runner as well. But really looking forward to it. I better let you go because someone's ringing in the background by the sound. So I'll let you go, mate.
I'd say it's my mate still talking about room service, I'd say, mate. But we'll look forward to catching up on Friday, hey?
No, good as gold. Thanks, mate.
See you, mate. Bye-bye.
Mark Barton, by the sounds of it, try to get his feed. But nutrienequine.com.au for all of that. Then go to Bendigo, go to the trots, watch the fields, keep in touch with Campbell's comments as well, and try and get some more interviews. I did, as I said, Greg Sugars was awesome the other day. Thank you to everyone that is on. Got a couple more little things we need to make sure people are aware of. Just got to find, there it is there. The stay-in tender. This is the first of the stay-in tenders that have been sent through to me. This is for the South Australian Square Trotters Association. They have got a stay-in tender up. Traditionally, stay-in tenders work at 70. Alexander Hurley, hello to you and congratulations. Go back and watch the start of it. We actually watched you win. So she'll still be buzzing. So well done to you. Congratulations taking out one of the 1,200 metre races. So congratulations, Alex. And you might be able to reinvest your money to the stay-in tender for the South Australian Square Trotters Association. As I said, King of the North, Peak, Cardigan Boko, Speeding Spur, Dancing in the Dark, Sky Valley, Sundance Courage, and Kinvent Avenger are all on offer. That is with the South Australian Square Trotters Association. Phone numbers are there. There's 3 phone numbers on that. So that's Reg. I'll leave that there. It's probably easier because there's Reg, Sharon, and Gary. Can get in touch with those guys. It closes on Thursday, the 31st of August, which is still a couple of weeks away. So make sure you get involved in that and keep an eye out because, as I said, I had Swanhill last week. Theirs will be coming out very shortly. Traditionally, Bendigo will do a deal with Alabar. I'm trying to think who else has it. Horsham, of course, with my great friends Woodlands. I haven't had their hat on tonight. I was very respectful for Brett. They will do one generally with the Nutrien Harness Racing Club around What the Hill going forward. If you haven't watched the Talking Trotters for What the Hill show last week, please tune in. It's a show where we only talk to trotters and, of course, What the Hill. Great supporter now of that. They're a bit of his stats this week. So he won both heats of the Governor's Cup at Scotia Down, 75,000 with Jet Hill and John Dutton. Roxana won the $55,000 Ohio Fairs Trot for 2-year-old fillies. In the USA, he's 9th on the All Age with his oldest at 4, 7th as a 3-year-old and 5th as a 2-year-old. He's leading sire in New Zealand and qualified Kianguchi for the Nutrien Equine Classic Final. That is on Monday nights, generally 7 o'clock. On Loose Lines is going to stay at 6 o'clock. Because it can go over, and I haven't had tea, and I have to go and get tea. Unlike Bardo, don't get the room service option. So we'll be getting that very shortly. I will be at Nutrien. We won't be live. We'll just get some interviews and get those out. So please make sure if you're in the area, get there. Don't worry about the fact that it's nearly booked out or is booked out. Make sure you get there and come and watch some brilliant racing and some great horses going forward. And you're more than welcome, Alex. I appreciate people contributing to the show and getting involved with it as well. That's the way it grows. Try and grow harness racing. Try and get the message out there. Try and be positive and keep enjoying the sport that we all do. That's the only reason most of you guys are on here. I mean, Shawnee McNulty wouldn't be on here because I was talking Carlton, but he stayed on here. Good luck to you, Shawnee, on the weekend. Good luck to everyone with runners in the Nutrien Equine Classic. Thank you to all the sponsors, Harasta Trotters, Alabar Farms, Woodland Stud, and Auctions Plus. Thank you very much to all of those guys, and good luck to everyone. And we'll be back. I'll be back live next Monday night, 7 o'clock, with Talking Trotters, the show where we only talk to trotters, and it's generally pretty structured. This show was very structured tonight. I must say a huge thank you to Brett Coffey. Don't forget, actually, I'll see if I can find that bit quicker this way. The Breed to Succeed. Get in touch with Northern Rivers Equine at admin@northernriversequine.com.au or 5852-2845 for all your details. So make sure you're there for that. The girls from Tassie are coming, which will be great to catch up with you guys. Really look forward to it. And I really appreciate everyone getting involved in the show. Thank you very much. Go the Carlton, go the Blue Boys, and enjoy it very greatly. Craig Judd, thank you very much, buddy. you're more than welcome. But yep, a lot of fun. That's what the show's about, just having a bit of fun, talking horses, and continue to try and promote the industry in a different light. So the 1200 metre races, as Alex Hurley would say, are an absolute success. I haven't seen a lot of them. I've been half watching them, half doing this show, but we'll try and touch on those next week. Of course, they'll be on next week when we're live on Loose Lines. Thanks very much. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're on YouTube. Sorry, Ernie, too. We're going very, very well, and hopefully we can get a winner tonight with EB Mac about 8:30. The wife's texting me, so I've got to go and answer that one at some stage. But thank you, guys. Thanks to everyone that's tuned into the show, and we'll see you all next week.